Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here today.
We're excited to have you here today. As always, we're live every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. And today we're going to talk about creating free communities and groups using AttractWell. You may currently have a group, maybe it's on Facebook or some other social platform. But as you may have learned or heard, or maybe, I don't know, sometimes people find this out in unfortunate ways. When you create groups and communities on social media, you are building that asset for your business on rented land. And in AttractWell, you have the ability to create a group that operates on your terms, that's on your website, that allows you to really create the experience that you want for your people. So today we're going to talk about how to get that done, including the resources that you're going to want to follow, because we're not going to be able to go through every single little tiny nuance to get everything set up here today. There is an in-depth resource that I want to make sure that you're aware of, but we are going to go through the main things that you're going to want to know and a high-level overview of what needs to be done in order to get a community set up. It's actually pretty simple. So we are going to get into that here today. Head over into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. We're always excited to meet the folks who are here on these calls from all around the world. With AttractWell, we can serve so many different types of businesses. I know a lot of us here are coaches. Maybe you create courses, you offer services, lots of amazing things. We're always looking forward to hearing more about what you do. So head over and introduce yourself. So Greg and I are going to pop out a video. We've got a lot to get into today. We do have some live reviews set up today as well. So yeah, definitely head over into the chat. Let's get this conversation going as I get into today's slide content. So today we are going to be talking about how to create groups and communities as promised with AttractWell. We'll be talking about what that looks like in terms of setup, launch, and maintenance, and where you can find those step-by-step resources that I've just mentioned. So after that, in the second half of our call, about 30 minutes in, we'll get into our live help and Q&A, including our live work reviews. So if you would like to, if you're watching this from our Facebook group where we're streaming right now, or you're watching this in the future as a recording on YouTube, you can go to attractwell.com/office hours to join us on a future live call here on Zoom with the community. If you'd like to work together live on a call like this one, we reserve the second half of these calls to working together with you, whether that be in Q&A or if you sign up following this link, we can set aside dedicated space to work together. And then, of course, if you would like to hand off some of the things that you want done to our team, you can do that too. Attractwell.com/concierge is where you're going to want to go for that. All right. So if you want to create a community, but keep it off of platforms like Facebook, you're in luck. That is something that you can do with AttractWell. We've got you covered. So communities in AttractWell are set up using the same tools, the same features in the AttractWell platform that you would use to create courses that you sell or give away, group programs, client dashboards for one-on-one clients, and a lot more. And all of these live inside of the member area of your website in a thing called a vault. So I want to give you guys just a quick high-level overview if you are maybe new to AttractWell or you haven't started utilizing these features on our platform yet. Let's get clear on what this stuff is, right? Because with AttractWell, you can do lots and lots of different things, and there is some sort of internal language and terminology that you do want to familiarize yourself with to some degree. All right, so in the big blue box here, we have your member area. So this is a place in your website where people go, they enter their password and their email address that they've signed up to be able to log in. That's how they get in. And once they're inside, they can see one or more vaults. Now, vaults can offer things like courses, programs, free communities, lots of different things, but everything in the member area has to live in a vault. And inside of a vault, you have any number of 3 different features: pages, classes, and discussion rooms. So pages are going to be like pages on your website. Discussion rooms, again, very straightforward. It's just going to be where people can post and comment in threads. And then classes are where you can set up a sequence or a referenceable series of lessons where you've got, maybe videos and downloads and potentially discussion on those lessons as well. So you can, based on the experience you want to provide, whether that be for a community or for a course or program, you'll decide what elements you want to have inside of a vault. So this is high level, the stuff that goes into making this, the features that are in AttractWell. All right. So the basics of a member area. Essentially, we have one login for all of your courses, programs, communities, etc. So if you have a free vault that is a community where anyone can join, they're going to use that same login to get into the member area of your website. If they are also a private client and you keep your one-on-one work inside of a private vault, or if they're a part of your upcoming cohort for a group program, they're going to be able to use one login and get into everything that they have access to, that they have either purchased access to, or you have given permission for them to access. People who are visitors to your member area, people who are in the member area, are only going to see what they are authorized to see. You could have 200 vaults, and at any given time, a person that is in your member area might only see 1, 2, 20. It just depends on that person and what they have purchased or what you've granted access to. That one member area can host as many vaults as your plan allows. So if you know you want 5 courses, you want a private client dashboard for every one of your 27 clients, you want to have another one that is just for your group cohort, you have so many options there. We do have an unlimited vaults and classes add on to your AttractWell plan. So in your member area, you can put as many of these vaults for as many purposes as you like. Those vaults themselves can have as many classes, pages, and discussion rooms as your plan allows. And your clients and community can use the AttractWell app for all of it. Now, we do have additional training. If you want to look at the app playlist on our YouTube channel, we've got different resources and trainings on how you can enrich the experience for your clients and community members utilizing the AttractWell app. You have a more dynamic way of being able to engage your people that way. And then, of course, you do have the benefit of being on the home screen in their pocket at all times, which is just not quite the same as when you are, asking someone to go to Facebook and then go find your group, right? So let's talk about the difference between free and paid vaults. We have talked about courses in the past on this channel. We've talked about programs and private client dashboards, all of these things being paid, right? Somebody purchases access to a vault on a vault checkout page or on a sales page or from your online store. Now, obviously, if you're creating a community, you aren't charging anything for it. So how someone gets access is going to be different. So there's a few things that are a little bit different with the paid versus free. So first, if you've got a paid vault where you've got maybe a course, program, membership, private client, dashboard, you're going to be adding that contact to the vault at the point of purchase, right? So it's going to be on a vault checkout page or a page with a payment form, or maybe even a listing in your store. But for a free vault, and that's going to be for things like courses, communities, book clubs, team groups, right? Anything that you would allow people access to for free, the way that contacts are going to be added on an automated basis is going to be after opting in on a landing page or a page with a form. So just like they would opt in to get a lead magnet from you, they would opt in to get access to your community. They would then get an email, of course, if they're added to the vault, that would send them a link to go set up their password and log in, right? This is something that can also be done via an automation. So maybe you want to send an invitation to join your free community to people who are on your list. And all they have to do is click a link in their email. That link would be an automation, and that automation adds them to your community vault, right? So they can also one click with an automation in that example, and then manually if the vault is open to anyone in your member area. So that is a setting in your vault where you can actually choose to allow anyone who's in the member area to see the vault and join it if they want to, right? So that's going to be existing members of your member area or visitors to your website if you do have open member area access, which is another setting as well. And I'll show you what those look like here in just a bit. Now, another thing that you want to remember, especially if you're someone who is transitioning from having a group on Facebook over to AttractWell, or if you are considering, having something that's maybe similar to what you've seen in Facebook groups, we do have some similar function, but it's not exactly the same. And there are some things that you're going to want to take into account if your expectations are that you are replicating a Facebook experience. So what you can do is schedule and post, including creating pinned posts, formatted text posts, image posts, videos, right? You can do that in discussion rooms inside your vault. So very similar to interacting in a Facebook group, you can do these things. You can also, similar to Facebook, reply to users, tag users in discussion threads, and they can tag and reply to each other as well. You also have the ability to choose settings that allow admin-only posting, meaning you are the only person as the admin or someone on your team is the only person who can originate posts, but the members of the community respond in threads, right? So they would only respond to the posts. They wouldn't create new posts. That's another thing. You can do that on Facebook. You can do that here as well. You can also, and again, this is kind of similar to Facebook, where you have sort of separate modules, right? Where you have sort of like things that you learn in sequence. There are ways, I don't remember what they call those in Facebook groups, but you can have this sort of separate set of information, maybe with videos, step-by-step, et cetera, reference material, separate from that main discussion. And you do that in AttractWell using an online class. That allows as well if you want to have separate discussions. So maybe you talk about a particular concept or idea, or you want to keep discussion tailored to a specific concept or idea, you can allow for discussion on those class lessons as well, in addition to having that discussion room. The answer to going live, like one might in a Facebook group, would be to have maybe a page inside of your vault that has a Zoom link that people can join at a set date and time, or if you send out an announcement, hey, I'm going to be live in 10 minutes, come join me. You could certainly do that as well. Provide the Zoom link from in your AttractWell account, and you can go live on Zoom. And you could certainly preserve those recordings, record them to cloud, and then put them into your AttractWell video library, and then pop them into this vault as replays if you choose. And here's a really primary difference and something that you're really going to want to take into consideration if you're wanting to build a community as someone who has Facebook type expectations. It's going to be on you to help your people build the habit of showing up. Facebook has billions of dollars invested in getting people to build the habit of showing up and showing up and showing up every day, multiple times, scrolling on Facebook. Unless you've got Zuckerberg bucks in your bank account, you're going to want to really consider putting the work into building habits of showing up in your people. And so what this is going to look like is using email and text campaigns, using app notifications, and really encouraging your users to download the app, right? Using those app notifications to get them to open the app. You're going to want to make sure that you are active in there. But I do want you to just remember that what you're getting out of having a community in AttractWell versus Facebook is quality over quantity, right? You're going to have better and deeper interaction inside of an AttractWell vault than you're typically going to get on Facebook, because Facebook is noisy, it's crowded, and people are super distracted. Whereas we are building a habit of bringing people into a specific and dedicated space. Right? So your community really does need to have a clear benefit for someone to interact with that needs to be very well articulated, and you got to be able to really follow through on what that benefit looks like for them. All right, so now let's talk about the basic setup checklist. This is the general order of operations, or the things that you're going to want to make sure that you're doing to get your community set up in AttractWell. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, and this is true for creating anything that lives in your member area, you're going to want to make sure you get your branding out of the way. It's going to be easier for you to just set everything up if you've got all of the images already made. Now, you could just certainly go in and create it and then go back and make the branding later. I'm not saying you 100% have to do this in this order. I personally find this to be advantageous. excuse me, because I'm not having to split my thinking between creative and design and strategic thinking. These are kind of two different hemispheres of the brain that are handling those functions, and we don't want to overwhelm, right? So do one and then the other. Now, you're going to want to have branding for the vault, the discussion room, the class, and then, of course, any content photos. So this is just going to be the stuff that visually shows up in the vault. So you're going to want a main image that's usually going to be something that is a square resolution size. You could certainly make that, a circle with a transparent background, right? You've got those kinds of options if you're using Canva. The header images are something that you can use very simply. It could be a solid color, a gradient, a sort of nature scene or something abstract. I generally don't recommend using header images that include text, just because it's a little tricky to have that show up the way that you want. So imagine the header image is sort of the background that you want for your logo or whatever the main image is for your group, and then you've got that main image that sits on top of it. So you want to have that in place for these different elements of your vault. And then you create the vault. You'll add or create your vault content, such as your discussion rooms, your pages, your classes, if you're going to offer those. And then you're going to address the entry settings. So how will someone be able to access this community? Then you'll plug the branding in that you created in the first place. And then you'll set up your point of entry. Now, this is sort of the final piece that is the main difference between creating a paid thing like a course or a program where you use a sales page or you're selling the vault. In this case, we are creating a means by which people can enter this vault for free, right? So that's going to be to create, in your case, a landing page or a page with a lead form. 100% you at least want one of these things that adds them to the vault. You could choose to have open member area enrollment, where you maybe have a link or a call to action on your website generally, where people can enter your member area, sign themselves up for a free member area account without having to do anything at all. And then, of course, you could use an automation. So this would be, again, an option that you might choose if you only want to invite people who are already on your list to join a community. You could use an automation in this case. And then you're going to modify the notification defaults. Now, this is a part of really making sure that you're delivering the experience that you want for your community. There are default settings for vaults in AttractWell. So this is how many emails someone will get per, day or whatever, based on posts made in the discussion room and so on. You get to choose what that is, right? So what you'll do in this case is log into your member area, and then you'll actually go and adjust those settings. If you're logged into your member area using your AttractWell login, so the same thing that you use, same email and password you use to log into your AttractWell dashboard, your back office, you use that to log into your own member area. And then in your vault, you set the notification preferences, and then those will be the default for everyone who joins thereafter. All right, now addressing content here, and I am going to go walk through this with you. I know this is a lot of slides that we're going through here, but I want to make sure we're clear on this stuff before we move forward. With content, you are going to want to make sure, of course, that you have a discussion room, right? At least one discussion room, because it's a community. People are supposed to talk, right? But you're going to want to make sure that you're supporting the experience with pages as well. So some pages that I recommend for vaults, and we do have trainings and resource bundles that include done for you templates for these pages. A guide page. This would be like a start here. Here's our ground rules. Here's our schedule. Here's, the reading materials I recommend, or my favorite things for you to purchase, or whatever, right? You could have a live calls, schedule, and replays page. This is one that's really popular, in particular if you are offering something that includes meeting on Zoom on some kind of regular basis. And of course, if this is a free group, plug in your affiliate links, right? So if this is a place you're going to invite everybody, you can still make this monetize. You can have a favorite things page inside of a vault like this. Maybe it's your favorite books, your favorite products, etc. right? Now, when you launch your community, make sure that you are clear on how people will get in. That's going to be that landing page or a page with a form. It'll be an automation, and that's where they can, click, or they've been delivered a message from a campaign and that adds them to the vault, right? There's different use cases for that we can certainly discuss here today if you guys want. And then of course you have the open access option where any website visitor could join your member area and then see and join your community vault. And then of course, whichever option you've chosen, you're going to want to use the link there. So maybe, I think for the majority of us, vast majority of us, we're going to be creating a page or a landing page that offers access to this community. Okay. And so you're going to want to create that. It adds them to the vault. And then of course, that's the link that you'll share. And that's how you launch it. Now, if you are going to choose open access, now this is for you if you want anybody who shows up to your website to be able to go to your member area and just log in. You don't need them to download a freebie. You just want them to say, yes, I want to join your community. If that's something that you want, then this is what you do. You're going to, in your member area settings, there is a checkbox where you can select to allow any website visitor to sign up for your member area. Make sure that that's enabled. And then in your vault for your community, there is a checkbox where you can select to let others in the member area see and join this vault, right? That's in the entry settings for your vault setup. And then finally, make sure in your menu, on your homepage, in your email signature, wherever it is that you would like to make sure people know they can join your community, you're going to use your member area link, which is your AttractWell website /members. And you're going to put that everywhere and anywhere. And basically what's going to happen here is people are going to be able to go and they can log in, your website.com/members. Anyone can log in there. And if they don't have a login yet, there is a link that says, if you don't have a login yet, click here to set yours up, right? And so it'll give them the opportunity to do so. All right. In terms of maintaining your community, once you've got your vault set up, you've got people in there, you're going to be using email or text broadcasts on a regular basis to send updates and encourage engagement. If you are really working toward getting people to use the AttractWell app, you're going to want to include those app notifications in with your text and email as well. And then you want to make sure that you log in to your community and participate as a fellow user. So go in, make posts, comment, reply, like, tag, etc. Right? You can schedule your posts ahead of time, show up on a regular basis to post, and of course, respond to those community members' posts and replies. Now, we obviously can't go through every single step in perfect detail in this 30 minutes that we have available at the beginning of these weekly calls, but you have the complete step-by-step in how to build your online course. It may be called right here, how to build your online course, but when you actually see it in our member area, we've updated it with an animated image that not only says online course, but it says communities, programs, etc. Right? So anything that relates to building an experience for your clients or community inside of a vault and AttractWell, you're going to find bite-sized, easy, step-by-step videos in here. And for you as an AttractWell community member, it is free. So if you go to the AttractWell Success Academy, if you're not an AttractWell member yet, get started today for $1. Go to the AttractWell Success Academy, click online resources and courses, and then click how to build your online course. That is going to get you access to every step that you need in order. And I do talk through in there if you want a free community, or if you want a private client dashboard, or if you want a course, etc. So there are those different modifications based on what it is that you're trying to get done. So let's go walk through live in AttractWell exactly what all this stuff is that I'm talking about. All right, so first things first, in our dashboard, let me just remind you where this is. Success Academy is right over here under Start Here. Online resources and courses, how to build your online course. Make sure that you get access to this and make a point to go through it, and don't Netflix it. Actually follow the steps in order as they're taught, and you will be able to get this done quickly and simply. All right. So let's get started down here under member area. First, I want to go to setup. If you haven't done this step yet, if you haven't created a member area yet, it's actually very simple, right? You will see that there is a setup guide. If you haven't done this yet, it'll actually walk you through some of the things that you might want to do. Make sure that it has a name. And then you do have your personalization options. So here's a cover photo. You can see if you hover over this little eye here, you can get some resolution sizes that you can put into Canva if you would like to create a cover photo. And you'll want to create a main photo as well. How you brand your member area should be neutral to your offers, meaning it should be something that relates to your brand, because this is the member area is going to hold all of the things that you create for clients and for your community, right? So this will hold everything. So Jane's is called the Holistic Hideaway. So we've got our main photo here, chosen a square. And then of course we have a member area login page message. And it's just very simple. There's a dashboard message that is going to show up when people are logged into the member area. They see the vaults beneath this message. And then, of course, you can choose to use a footer here as well. There are some advanced options that you can choose to use. It's totally up to you. But here's one of the things that I mentioned earlier here on the call. If you want people to be able to access this member area, regardless of who they are, they've just arrived at your website, you don't want to create a landing page for it. All you've got to do is click here, allow any visitor to sign up for your member area. And then you can actually choose which vault you want them to be able to access, right? So they'll be able to, so this will be the vault that we can go in, and I'm not going to add any campaign in this case because there is one attached to this vault, but maybe you want to have an initial nurture campaign that's related to your community. Maybe treat your community like a lead magnet, and then you can have an initial nurture campaign here, right? That would actually be a really great idea if you're using this setting. All right, so that's our member area. I'm going to save our changes. And then we're going to head over to vaults. So now we're in vaults. You can see that I've got quite a few here for lots of different purposes. I'm going to add a new vault. And you can see in the setup guide, there's nothing in this vault. And that is a critical step. So it is reminding me that I've got some things to do. So this is going to be the community. So you're going to name it your community, however it is that you'd like to name it. And then of course we want to get into adding content, but we do want to go ahead and save this. So click Create Vault so that we can then start adding our content, right? So our content here, we're going to begin with adding a discussion room because that is the cornerstone of what is needed to have a community as a place to chat, right? So this would be community chat. We've got, our guidelines. If you want to say whatever it is that you want to say, we could say welcome and add guidelines here. Branding and messaging, what you want to put here is your cover photo. And I would use the same one that you use throughout the vault and your main photo. And again, you could have one here that is branded to your community that says chat, or you could forego it. It's totally optional. You don't have to have it. This is a selection that you can have here to allow people to send emails to each other in the discussion room. That's something that you may choose to use. And then allowing non-admin participants to make posts. Keep this checked if you want anybody to be able to make posts in your discussion room. So we're going to create our room. And now we've got some content. This is actually a fantastic place to start. Done is better than perfect, and having a place where people can log in and post in a discussion room is a perfect start for a community. And you can continue adding more stuff over time. If you recall, if you've ever made a Facebook group, when you first got started with your Facebook group, what did you do? You created the group and you added some people. This is the point at which you're ready to move forward. If that is the case, if that's what you are happy with at this point. Now you do have the ability to add additional content here. So I'm actually going to copy a page that I have on this account that is going to be live calls. Let me see, calls. Here we go, schedule Zoom calls and replays. Now this is from a template that you guys have access to from a separate training. So I'm going to add this into the vault. I'll of course want to make sure that this is set up because my free group is going to have live calls. We talked about this in our book club and challenge training. So you can get this resource there. And of course, you can make these modifications. I'm going to go into settings and call this live calls and replays. And it is visible in the vault. And I'm going to choose for it to be searchable in the vault as well. I'll save it, pop out of here. And we've got our live calls and replays. And we can also, I'm going to do a copy page again, because I've got this from resource bundles. I'm going to find my start here, vault content. There's another one. And these are all the ones that I recommended as well. So again, this is title or course or program. We could call this title of community. And of course, modify this according to what you want to do in the community. I would really encourage you. I'm going to call this start here. Call this start here as well. I would encourage you to really put the work into creating resources like these pages in your vault, and you can drag them around. So this one obviously would need to be first. Creating resources like this in your vault that mimic what they would experience inside of a course or program, because it's going to increase the perceived value and thus encourage greater interaction, right? So one more piece of content I'm going to add here. I am going to add a favorite things page. So we have affiliate stuff. I'm going to go copy page here. And I'll call this my shopping guide. Oops. I'm going to stay on the page and save it. So with that, we just have a couple of things that we need to set up. We've got our content in here. Of course, you can go back and brand. We do have, if you wanted images for these, instead of just showing the titles in the vault, you can create images here. It's 1050 by 400, and these would show up as images in the vault. So we've got our content. Now let's get into entry settings. This is the button that shows up inside of the member area where they can hop into the vault. You can put your short vault summary, again, that shows up in the member area, modify the campaign that you want them to receive. If you don't want any special specific information to go out to them, you can simply use this default message, because it is going to give them a way to set up their login if they haven't done so already. All right. And if you want to, like I mentioned before, have open access to this, you're going to select let others in the member area see and join this vault. Right? And then it's going to send them right into the vault. Finally, you brand the vault, put the cover photo, the main photo, and then this is the message that they see up at the top of the vault above the content. So you'll fill that out, you'll save your vault, and the final step that you're going to follow here is to create the point of entry. And so that's going to mean maybe creating a landing page if you want to keep it simple, or creating a page. So I'll create a landing page. And I'll use this simple one here. And we're going to say, join the free community. And of course, you can, modify this page to your liking, but in the settings, you are going to come down here and select add them to this vault. So there's the My Community Vault. And of course, whatever other information you want to add here, you want to tag them, you want to add a campaign, etc. Obviously name the page. But once you have this set up, the key is you're going to attach the vault here to add to vaults. And you're going to do the same thing if you use a page instead of a landing page. All right. So that is the overview. That's what you're going to get if you set up a community on AttractWell. I'll show you what one can look like that's actually been active. Let me log in really quick here, and I can I can show you just a general gist. It's going to look very similar to if you had like a course or program that had discussion, right? So this was actually a group program, but it's going to look the same, right? You're just going to be interacting with it a little differently. So we've got a cover photo, we've got our main photo, and here we've got our content. So this is actually a class, and I've branded these with images. We've got pages, coaching calls, schedule, links, replays. We've got a discussion room. And of course, you can see in the discussion room that where people can post, they can tag one another, they can reply to posts, etc. Right? And you can schedule them. Oh, and the final thing, what I want you to make sure that you do is when you're logged in, and this is how you set your notification settings, you look for this wheel right here, you customize it to what you want it to be. And if you're logged into this vault as yourself, using your AttractWell login, you will be able to set your preferences for everyone else who joins this vault. All right, I'm excited to see if you guys have any questions. Looking forward to hearing more maybe about the community that you would like to create, what its purpose is, and how you would like to use it, how it works for you functionally in your business. All right, and I also have Maureen and Blaga here for live work reviews as well. So I'll be bringing you guys out here in just a moment. I've got one question here from Brandon that I'm going to answer, and then I'll start bringing you guys out. So Brandon says, do you have any recommendations for pre-selling a vault as a membership? So the challenge with pre-selling a membership, Brandon, is you're getting a commitment for an ongoing purchase, right? So you do want to really make sure that people are getting something when they buy in if you want to keep them there with you. Selling a membership is a lot more challenging than just selling a course or program because you have, sort of an inherently leaky bucket there. People aren't guaranteed to just continue paying every single month. So you're going through all of the work to sell in the first place. And then whether or not they stick around is a little bit more challenging, right? So if you are going to be selling a membership, if I were to try to kind of waitlist, pre-sell, something like that, I would maybe have maybe like a promotional founder's price where they pay one price and they get access either lifetime or maybe for a year or maybe for a set of months or something like that. And that way, you are getting a longer commitment up front. You're ensuring that you've got people who are actually there to feed the energy into the community with you. And then that also allows you to maybe set those folks up with a one-time payment for now, especially if your vault doesn't have anything in it yet, right? Happy to answer any follow-up questions if you have them. Feel free to pop those into the Q&A. And guys, if you have any questions for me, please make sure that those get into the Q&A so that I don't miss you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and find Maureen, if you're here. I don't see your name in here. So Maureen, if you're here, if you could pop your hand up, I will unmute you and you can come out and chat. Hey, Mo, there we go. You go by Mo. How can we help? It does look like you're muted. Are you able to unmute?
Right, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Hi. I was actually wondering, I'd like to do a video on AttractWell on my site, but I really don't know how to do it, to be perfectly honest. There's a place there where you can do one so that you're greeting people when they come onto your website, but I don't know how to do it. So
Okay. So you'd like to create a video using
yes.
AttractWell that you can put onto your site. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward, actually. You're just going to pretend that you're meeting someone. So
Okay.
all you need to do is go over here to Zoom meetings. And you would create a Zoom meeting, and maybe this one we'll schedule for later today. This will be we'll call this welcome video.
Yeah.
It's one time.
Yeah.
And so you create the meeting, and here we'll just go ahead and set it for, earlier today. It'll still show up in your list. So here you go to start meeting. And then
Oh,
once you're in Zoom, you're going to
yeah.
record to cloud. As soon as you're ready to start recording, you're going to record to cloud.
Okay.
All right. Now,
Yes.
once you're done, you close out the meeting. You don't even have to stop recording. Just end the call when you're done recording. And then depending on how long the video is, it might take a little bit of time to to show up. But you're going to be able to find that cloud recording under My Recordings right here.
My recordings. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's one more step. There will
Yeah.
be a link. So you'll see the video here. Or you'll see it'll be text about it, but there will be a link that says convert to or move this to AttractWell videos, something to that effect. So that one click will actually move it over to your video library. Well, it will now live here, and then you'll be able to embed that onto a page on your site.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Yeah, happy to help.
Leslie, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was quick. All right, Blaga. Hi. How can we help?
Hello, how are you?
Fantastic. Good to have you back.
Okay, so I am a podcaster and I am also a meal planning coach, and I need the best way that I can start or do like a discovery call funnel. I've been binge watching all of your stuff, but I feel like I'm like all over the place. So I just need the best way or the templates or the pages that I can set up like a discovery call or AKA coaching funnel.
Yeah, yeah. So that is actually our most popular piece of content, our most popular lead magnet that's ever existed. That is the one-page funnel blueprint, and the step-by-step of the one-page funnel blueprint you'll find in the Success Academy online resources and courses. This guy right here. So this one-page funnel blueprint is a video training where we kind of walk through, and you can get the download, the PDF of sort of how the big picture of how it works. But the client funnel challenge is actually how you build each piece of it. And so this is what I recommend that you follow. It gives you the sequential order, best practices on how to set up the campaign and where, different links go and all of that kind of stuff. So if your means of converting your leads to clients, right, you want to get people onto calls, then that's what this is what you're gonna want to check out.
Okay. And is there a way to delete some of the resources that I've downloaded from you guys?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just depends on what the resources are. So, if they're pages, you can go into the pages and delete those. If they're campaigns, you can do that as well. Yeah.
And do I need to, when I download a resource bundle from you, do I need to make a copy of that and then rename it with my stuff, or can I just work from that template?
You can work from the template. It's yours once it's in your account. Definitely recommend modifying it for your naming convention to kind of fit how you're naming things in your account. But the cool thing is if you ever wanted another version of that thing, maybe the same one that we created in the first place, all you have to do is go back to your resource bundles and click My Claimed. There's a My Claimed button, and you can actually go and see all of the things you've claimed previously, and you can actually claim them again, and that'll give you a new copy if you wanted to do that.
Okay, that's really good to know. Because like in Google, when you're sharing a document, you need to like make a copy of it. So that's what I've been doing. So now I have like multiple of everything. And so that's really good to know. And then is there a way to do your pages so they're branded with your website? So like I could have like Busy Mama Meal Planning /podcast, and that would lead to my landing page of my podcast, like for lead gen?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So essentially basically all that means you have to do is when you create a page, the link path needs to be podcast. So for whatever page you
Ah.
want to be the podcast page, the link path on that page needs to be podcast. And so like in AttractWell, you can see that there's like your website.com/page/podcast, but you actually don't have to type in the word page. You could actually speak like, so on your podcast, for instance, go to whatever website.com/podcast, and that'll take them to that page.
Ah, perfect. Yay. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
That's
I think
a
that's
simple
it.
one
Oh,
too.
hang on.
Awesome. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's all. I'm just not sure. Like, I recognize that I can delete pages, like from the resource bundles that I've could you just maybe go into my account for a sec, or
sure.
is that not possible?
No, that's fine.
It's a hot mess in there.
All right. So I assume it's in pages. So you
Yeah,
got
so
a
if
few
you
pages.
look at all the like bundles that I've like
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I can just delete right on the front page. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, just click the delete button. If it's a page situation, then we thankfully have a delete button there.
Okay, thanks so much for your help.
Yeah, sure
Okay,
thing.
have a good day.
You too. All right, Robert had a question. Would you recommend offering access to a freebie within a community vault or keep the freebie separate? It depends on the purpose, Robert. It depends on the purpose of the freebie and sort of where you see the sort of ladder experience going, or sort of the tier of the funnel. So if we're funneling them down toward a point, what is that point of conversion, right? So are we moving them to a call with you? Are we moving them to a sales video where they then, receive a series of sales campaign emails, et cetera? Your community is somewhere above that point of conversion, right? That point that like this the point of conversion where they would become a client, right? So we have to find a way to get them from they're just somebody who's visiting or who's on social media or whatever. They make their way to what's the step, right? Is it join the community? Is it get my lead magnet? Is it an either or? They could be at the same level, right? And then of course you can move them further. So the way I like to look at it is this. Communities, depending on your brand and who your target audience is, communities are a really great entry level sort of lead magnet, right? A community is a lead magnet, but you do want to have functions of the community that helps to convert the people who are at that warmer level of lead toward a next step. So maybe there are things that you only share with that community. So in this case, offering some kind of a freebie inside of that vault is a great idea, but don't just put the freebie in there. Use an automation for them to claim it, right? So that way, if they've claimed that freebie, they've got a new tag, they've got a new campaign that's being delivered that's maybe pitching something to them that they didn't receive before, right? So you can layer those things in. And another option would be to place this in the opposite order, where they only learn about the community once they have downloaded the free thing from your website, right? They don't have to be one before the other. I actually think that lead magnets and communities should be at about the same level, right? But the lead magnet, the campaign of the lead magnet should 100% be pitching them to join your free community, right? That's going to be really important because a community is a place where they can interact with you and get the social proof of how well you're serving others in a community. That's a much higher value for your business in terms of the exposure of what people get access to as a freebie. So if you're going to include lead magnets inside of a community, just make sure that the delivery of that is such that they're clicking a link to get this free thing. But that link that they're clicking, and they don't know this, but you do, it's an automation. That automation has a URL that it redirects to. I'll show you exactly how I would set this up actually here. Let me pop out of here into another account so I can show you what I would do. It's pretty straightforward. It's just setting up an automation. So what you would do is, this is under your contact settings. We go to automations here. I'm going to create a new one. This is going to be, lead magnet offer from Vault. I'm going to add a campaign here. That's going to be whatever that campaign is. In this case, I would treat this the same as I would treat any other, they've opted in for a lead magnet. They now need to start receiving a sequence of emails that are related to that thing that they opted in for. And then of course, whatever the conversion event is. So are you moving them toward watching a sales video? Is the campaign moving them toward a call with you, et cetera, right? So the campaign needs to be applied here. The tag needs to be updated. Whatever the name of your lead magnet is, or, you know, the stage in your pipeline, right? So add that tag. And then under advanced options here, this is where I would put the link to the PDF or a link to a page on your site where that resource is held. And so you're going to take this, this keyword here, we're going to copy this, and this is going to go into the URL field. So inside of your community, wherever you are placing. So if it's in, you know, a start here page, or if it's in the content of a lesson, when you say, hey, if you want to get access to this exclusive thing, all you've got to do is click here. That text that you're hyperlinking, click here. This is what you're going to copy this and paste that into that field. And that's actually going to paste an automation code. And that means that when the person clicks it, it's going to take them straight over to the thing that they asked you for when they said click, when they clicked on click here. But all of those other things are going to happen in the background. Okay, 2 PDF freebies I want to have a link for in later campaign days after they've received the first lead magnet. How do I create a link for those extra PDFs? So when you upload anything like a PDF to your file section in AttractWell, it does generate a unique link for it. And so that you're going to find that actually over here under your content library under files. So if I come over here to my files, you can see that I actually have a number of different PDFs, MP3s, M4As, etc. All of these are unique links. So you can just copy the link and you would maybe pop that into that automation as the URL, right? And then you could create the unique ones for those purposes. If these are, you know, simply resources that are relevant to the folks who are inside of that community, then, you know, you could just include them. But if you're really going to kind of utilize copy to position these as being sort of a stepping stone to them moving, you know, up the ladder with you in a new and better direction for themselves, et cetera, then of course I would use an automation for that purpose. Okay, Brandon. So you would then recommend fully building the membership site and then pre-selling a course that you would offer inside the membership vault. So if you're going to sell a membership, my recommendation is that there is some substance for people to sink into when they purchase, right? And I think this is true even if you're not selling a membership. If you're selling anything, even if it's not made yet, you need to have something. So if you are live launching a vault that is a course or a program, you want to at least have the first lesson and a discussion room done so that people have something, right? When they purchase, there's a thing that happens when somebody buys something. Even if they have conviction when they purchase, there is a little thing that happens right after they do, right? Where there's just this little twinge of, did I make the right decision? And the way that you help to support that being a yes is by making sure that you are delivering some kind of value immediately. So it could be that instead of having a full course in there, Brandon, you could have an exclusive lead magnet or thing that you don't offer anywhere else. So you could be a founding member of the community. Here's the special pricing, and you're going to be the only ones to access this thing, and you can get it right away. So you can even put like a bonus in there, but there just needs to be something, and a discussion room, obviously. And it's going to be easier and easier to sell a membership the more content is in it, right? Because you'll be able to point to all of the great things that they'll get. And of course, that they're seeing all of those things there, it's going to help them feel good about continuing to pay on an ongoing basis, right? You know, if you were to have signed up for AttractWell, you know, seeing all of the things that we say that we are maybe going to be capable of, but you logged in and all you could get was a list of stuff, but there was nothing to do, you probably wouldn't pay for month number 2. You'd take a loss on that dollar and get going. So definitely have something in there that they can get into. I hope that helps. Let's see. I'm so happy that was helpful to you. And you've got a Zoom meeting with Jessica Mo. That's awesome. There are several Jessicas on our team, and they're both incredibly talented designers. So you're in good hands. Fantastic. All right. Well, you guys have any more questions? We do have a few more minutes before we close out for the day. Hey, Melody. I joined a membership thinking I would get more of the speaker. His admin runs the whole thing, just courses in it. I was disappointed. Wow. Yeah, you got to, make sure you're super clear on what's being offered there. And oh my gosh, yeah, especially like if you are the brand and you're selling your expertise and like join my community and your admins are running it, you better be super clear that like, you're going to edify those admins. Like you're going to join my community where my people will take very good care of you. And that needs to be said explicitly up front. Yeah, the last thing you want to do is create that kind of buyer's remorse and disappointment. It's kind of hard to come back from that, right? When you cross that level with someone who's purchased from you, and that's the experience that they got. It's hard to rebuild trust from that place, for sure. And yeah, no, Brandon, I don't believe you would do that. I'm excited to see what kind of a community that you create, and I think that you have. Maybe one of the things that you could do, and this is sort of a build it as you go thing, but, maybe offer to a couple of your core people, sort of these, VIP founder seats or something like that. They pay some nominal amount. Maybe they're their previous clients, bring them in. And then you could be doing just quick videos, just same as what you would do in a Facebook group, right? With lives. So you have content that you maybe only put into that community. I think that's a really important thing for you to do if you are going to be running a community on an ongoing basis, is that what people see in there, especially from you, is something that feels at least unique and special compared to what's on your YouTube or what's on your blog or elsewhere on your socials or your website. It needs to be something that feels exclusive. A membership really needs to be something that feels like they're in the green room with you, right? They're behind the velvet rope with you. And so that's how I would handle that on an ongoing basis. So if you have a commitment that you can start right now before anybody is even in there, just start creating maybe like those short videos that you could pop into lessons, etc. Just having something there for people to start interacting with is going to be really important. So anyway, good on you. And I'm excited to see you fill that community up with amazing people. I know you're out to do really good work. All right. Thank you guys for sticking around today. Let us know, head over into our community. We actually have one on Facebook, just because it's just, in our case, it's a better place for us to have one. Oh, Rodney, great question. Can you put multiple discussion rooms inside one vault? Yes, as many as you want. There is no limit. I don't think. Greg, is there a limit? No.
No limit.
It's no practical one anyway. So you can, if you want to have specific like discussions that are catered toward particular things, you can do that, right? If you have a challenge that you're running and you want to have one discussion room that is just for questions and another discussion room that's just for testimonials, or, you're talking about, 5 or 6 different things. And again, I'm thinking more like, here's a wellness challenge. You've got your diet 1 discussion group, diet number 2, like here's our paleo people, here's our keto people, here's our this, here's our that, right? And you could actually create those inside of a group as well, for sure. And yes, it's as many pages as your plan allows, as many vaults as your plan allows, as many online classes inside of those vaults as your plan allows, and of course the discussion rooms, as many as you want. I think you can put as many lessons inside of an online class as you want. Obviously, there is a point of diminishing effectiveness there. Awesome. All right. Well, head over into our Facebook group and let us know what you would like to learn next. We certainly look forward to hearing from you there, and of course, seeing you on our upcoming calls. The tags, Rodney, would allow differentiation, yes. And that would be inside of your contact manager. So if somebody clicked on a thing and you had that automation attached, for instance, that would, attach a tag, change a tag, etc. But that's our tags do allow for differentiation inside the system. Thank you guys for sticking around, having so many awesome questions today. Look forward to working with you again next week. And till then, have a great week, everybody.